What's good, people? You're tuned into Big Condo Radio. I am Royzy Rothschild. This is the Music Talk, music industry show. I got my mate with me, goes by the name of Katie King, all the way from the Scotty Press, music journalist. How are we?
Good, thanks.
You good? You
Yeah.
happy to be here?
Yeah.
You got interrogated when you first arrived, didn't
No,
you? Full interrogation from Dr. Chase, but we're here.
Yeah.
We're here now. So, I just want to jump straight in, know what I mean? Obviously, I know your name's Katie King, and obviously you work at the Scotty Press, you're a music journalist, but, you know, how did you become who you are, and how have you got to where you are now?
So Scotty Press originally was work experience for me. I just decided I loved English and I wanted to combine music as well.
Wait, you loved English?
Yeah, so
You must be
career-wise,
the only person that I know that actually liked English. Jeez. God, sorry.
yeah, so basically I just found my own work experience there. Joe was lovely enough to take me on. And then so done that at 15, and then once I was there and I got given the community stories, and then once I like found my feet and stuff, I was like deciding, once I got given my first artist to interview, I just realised I loved it and thought I could carry on with this. And ever since I've just been trying to find artists to interview and stuff like that.
Okay, so you say you joined the company when you were 15. How old are you now?
Just turned 19.
19. So
Yeah.
you've been doing it for 4 years. So
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's not like it's something new. It's 4 years long. Know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you were working on community stories first. And then when did you get given the music journalism? When was that?
So in the past year and a half, I've done the likes of Jake Riley, done Upper Echelon events. They work internationally. That was
Yeah, yeah.
interesting. Mainly locals, and then you realise that they're all connected and everyone knows each other in the music industry. So it's nice to have, when people suggest people and they bring like the friends into it and stuff, it's nice for them to suggest them because it's easier for me then, and it's like a nice little network that goes on.
Yeah. Well, that's what it is, isn't it? As a journalist, you are building a network as well. So after you've interviewed somebody, they probably go, "Oh, I had an interview with Katie the other day, Scotty Press," and like, "Oh, I want an interview,"
Yeah,
and then and then they pass on.
Yeah.
Know what I mean? So what's it been like working at the Scotty Press over the past 4 years in journalism as a whole?
Yeah, it's been an experience. It's just been one of the best things I've ever done for myself. Like I done it, I just took the chance and thought if they take me on, they take me on.
Yeah.
And it's all about getting the experience before you actually like train to be paid as well, because it's volunteering. And yeah, so I think it's good because I'm local myself, so I half know the stories that get given to me.
Yeah.
And then once you find out more information, and it's a way to build contacts as well for me. So,
So it's been really good,
Yeah,
and
love it.
even better now that you're getting into like more music as well. Know what I mean? But what's been your favourite interview from the artist that you've interviewed?
So recently I've done one with Upper Echelon events. They work, they're an events company, but they work like internationally. Like they have work with international artists and stuff, which is different for me because I'm used to the locals and things like that. So it was nice to like broad out and like see what they done. And it's interesting because they done events just before lockdown as well. So they were having to have the sit down rule.
I know what that feels like to do an event before this lockdown. Jesus.
Yeah.
And I actually managed to squeeze an event in a couple of weeks ago in Studio 2 Park Street before they locked us down, which was pop-tastic. 10 amazing artists performing, from Emily Callagher to Kerry Feeney, Helen Moore, Brian Hobbs, just loads, Sam Milne. So big shout out to all them that performed, because do you know what? No one's performing for 6 months from now. So yous have all just had an absolute perfect opportunity. You know what I mean?
It is hard.
But it's so hard at the minute.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But we're definitely going to get through it. So with your journalism, obviously you like English. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, do you have a certain technique? Obviously, every writer has a way that they do things. Would you say that you've got your own method and your own techniques that you use when you interview an artist?
Yeah, I'd say I always do my research first. That's like my
Mm.
first go-to. And I just prep questions that,
When you say research, what type of research would you do? Because
yeah,
the reason why I'm pulling this back now to talk about this is the first time anyone spoke about this today. Now, we've had Tape Deck reviews in, we've had Zine, Liverpool Magazine, and I don't think I've heard anyone talking about researching. And I know that they interview people, they promote, they do everything, but no one ever talked about like a backstory of a research. So what type of research would you do on an artist?
So I first go to like the social media,
Mm. What would you
uh,
go to first? Instagram?
Instagram.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, every artist builds up on their Instagram first, I
Yeah.
think.
Mine was
Um,
Twitter.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
or Twitter's another one.
Mm.
But yeah, Instagram's good because um, obviously they'll post it'll be like demos here, tracks here,
Yeah, yeah.
visit here, and they'll have blogs and websites, and then I just go off them, write it all down, and then produce my questions from that and base it on that in
So,
that way. Yeah.
so like you're prepping yourself, aren't you?
Yeah.
So when you're writing it though,
Mm.
have you got like a certain style of writing? Because you've got like authors and editors and stuff like that that have a certain style, don't they? Where if they write it, you knew it was them that wrote it, type of thing. Would you say that you had a certain style, or would you say that you're still developing it at the minute?
I am still developing it because obviously it's obviously a
Mm.
new like hobby and stuff that I'm developing. I, like the beginning of it was it'd be like the headline, the questions,
Mm.
and then their answers below and stuff. And then now I'm more like I just wanna write it in my own words, if that makes sense.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Um. Yeah.
Would you write a crazy headline? Because we have worked right with a number of publications over the past 5 years, and we did a interview with the Liverpool Echo, and and they did us dirty. In the well, I don't know. I wouldn't say they did us dirty. I'm not gonna go that low, but the headline was quite comical. In what was it, Chase? What was it?
Wu Tang producer.
No, Wu Tang Clan videographer runs radio station from his Liverpool kitchen. I was just like,
Oh God.
what has that got to do with what we're doing here at the academy? It just made no sense. I was
Yeah.
just like, the hell's going on? But luckily enough, they retracted it and changed it to something else. Yeah, yeah. But would you make up like a crazy headline to get attention?
Clickbait.
In honesty, I don't think
Mm.
I would. I like to just keep it the name, just the main key facts, because there's no point in writing something that's, yeah, it'll cause attraction and you'll get views on your
Mm.
articles and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's about the artist you
Yeah,
want.
yeah.
Yeah. So just try and keep it simple as I can.
Keep it real as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's about keeping it real.
I really was recording from my kitchen.
No, he actually was reporting from his kitchen because when COVID hit, yeah, we moved the whole operation to Zoom, so people were getting interviewed on Zoom
Yeah.
from Chase's kitchen. But it was so much more than what we were doing. Know what I mean? Do you get me?
Yeah.
So, what do you actually think of the music industry right now as a journalist? So, I have dabbled in this with a few questions with a few other guests. I've had different responses from people because I don't know whether the editors and the journalists understand the other side of things that the artists go through, like Spotify, Apple Music, and all stuff like that. Like Spotify is I think it's like 14 plays as a penny. You know what I mean? So, what do you think of the current state of music in the world as a whole?
I think it's difficult, even more difficult now with lockdown restrictions and things like that. I found that when artists are talking about what they've done in lockdown, yeah, it's negative because they can't go out there. They
Yeah, yeah.
can't, if the venues are pubs that they're performing in, for example, they've recently just closed and now
Yeah, yeah.
that's them out of business
Mm.
for a while. But when lockdown came, I found that artists would be telling me, well, it was my time to like develop on what I've been writing, what I'm doing, and then once it's over, they can just go out there then and they're ready.
Yeah, yeah.
I know artists like Tom Bradley. He has a band called Thomas Bradley Project, and
I've heard of them.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
which, and to be fair, like they've been using this time to just rehearse, get band members in and things like that, and to be told that you can't do it because restrictions and things like that. I do think it's hard, and you see it on the news every day now. It's like people are rebelling because they're angry they can't,
Yeah, yeah.
which is like justified because it's hard for musicians, it's hard for the arts industry and things like that.
Well, I'm going to be honest. It was hard for me to run that Poptastic event at Studio 2. The conditions that I had to run the event in, so I had to wear a mask all night. Yeah, I genuinely was struggling to breathe. The mask was filling up with water because
Yeah.
it had like an air condenser type filter on it. Yeah, it was filling up with water because I'm breathing out hot air, and it was cold in the venue. So the condensation built up, but it was like full air. So I was dealing with that. When people are arriving, they're walking in and they not had the masks on and that, and I'm like, "What are you doing? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Put your mask on and do track and trace." And they'd have to track and trace, so they'd have to scan the phone or do the app, which would take them like 5 minutes. They would go waving it up and down, and they
Yeah.
got the mask on in the queue. Then you're saying to them, from the door to the chair, you've got to wear your mask. You can only take your mask off once you're sat down. Yeah. So then they're wearing the mask till they get to chair. Then they're taking it down, and they're like, "Oh, this is stupid. This blah blah." I'm like, it's not me. I do not write the rules. I follow
know.
the rules. Know what I mean? So, and then the waitress is coming out, which was good service, by the way. Shout out Studio 2. She was coming out and doing the drinks and stuff like that. And she had a mask on, and I could tell that, like, she was struggling to breathe. Like, she was working there at the same all night, the same as me, and but delivering drinks to everyone. And just the whole situation, it was like, I was kind of sitting there thinking, this is really not doable. Like, I have done it. Like, we did the event, everything went smooth, it was all legal, fully above board, everyone followed the rules, but that's not what live music is about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people got up to dance, and I'm like, nah, you gotta sit down.
It's
know what I mean?
difficult to keep people
Get
not
me?
dancing.
Especially after
Yeah.
they've had like 2 or 3 pints and they're getting up dancing.
Yeah,
Nah, mate,
definitely.
sit down. Know what I mean? Get me?
Yeah.
So I thought, it's going to be hard doing events in this, but we did try and do 2 events, and they've just been called off because of tier 3.
Yeah.
No, know what I mean?
It
So
is a Tottenham.
definitely understand what you mean. So what type of magazines or books or published items have influenced you into writing over the past years?
Oh gosh. I think like obviously like the mainstream newspapers and stuff are interesting, but then when you see the likes of music interviews that like BuzzFeed and
Yeah.
things like that, and you see it pop up on your phone all the time. Once you start reading, and you see like actual celebrities and stuff,
Yeah.
I always thought it just looks like one of the most exciting jobs
Mm.
to do.
Lois Lane, Superman. Is that what she was? Was she was she a journalist? Yeah.
Yeah.
Lois Lane. Do you consider yourself a Lois Lane, do you?
I don't know, not really.
Right, so I know for a fact that at the minute you're in the middle of building up your socials, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you want to speak to the people to get them to contact you on your socials?
Yeah.
What are your socials?
My socials are Instagram is ScottyPress_Katie King. My Twitter is Katie King 58. And on them I'm just, so the Instagram's where I post obviously the things
Yeah.
that come from Scotty Press, and
Content.
then Twitter I use for more or less everything I write, and if it gets published as well, get it out there, because it's a way to make contacts, I've found.
Right.
Mm.
So there you have it. Get it on Instagram or Facebook. Yes, you can go and add it. For people that are adding, because there could be potentially some artists adding you, what is the best way to approach you to maybe do an interview or do a review from the Scotty Press? How do you like to be approached? Because been in the music game a long time, and you just get random people message going, "What up, lads? I want an interview," or help me out, sign me, and you're like, that's just for me professionally, that's not the way to approach. Do you get me?
Yeah.
So how would you say? What would you say was the best way to approach you for you to do an interview or to do a review on some music?
I'd say just dropping a message is enough, and then obviously I can see what you do, see what type of, like, as well, what genres you are and stuff like that.
Yeah. Is that important though? What I mean is, are you gonna turn down if someone if they do metal or something along those lines?
No, I wouldn't. It's obviously it's important to have variation, and I found that I'm starting slowly to get more variation, which is nice, because there's just so many things you can talk about,
Yeah.
and it'd be nice to have a range of stuff.
So yeah, so any type of music, and
Any
a
at all.
friendly message, not like, hey, do an interview, do an interview on me. No, do you get me? Yeah. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years?
Oh gosh, I'd say in the next 5 years, ideally you want to be in a paid job, because at the minute I'm just working on experience, working on building stuff to get there and stuff, and then training to be an actual journalist. So in 5 years I want to be in a job that I love, and it just makes you happy, because at the end of the day, I think that's what means the most and stuff.
Happiness is more important than money. That is a fact. So if there was a job here or a career path that only paid 20,000, and there was a career path, well, this career path was going to make you happy, but this one was 28,000 and that was going to make you sad, unfortunately, you'd have to pick happiness over
always,
sadness. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't understand that, and they pick the sadness and they pick the money, and then before you know it, they've got mental health issues and all sorts, because they're working in a job for 10 years that they never wanted to do to begin with. You know what I mean?
Exactly, yeah.
So I definitely agree with you on happiness over money, 1,000%.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But the industry that you're involved in, journalism, a lot of it's freelance and self-employed as well, isn't it?
Yeah. I found that on my college course, I've learnt, like, from tutors and stuff. A lot of people that come from these courses end up working from home and being freelance, because it's difficult to get. I mean, I suppose it's a preference of what you want to do. If you feel comfortable working from home, finding your own stories, finding your own contacts, then that's for you. But then, obviously, some people prefer to be in an office environment and working as a team. So there's a lot different types of journalism. To go into.
But speaking on journalism and going into you, I want you to give me a pitch. Give the people a pitch, right, of why you're the journalist to cover the story. Whatever story that may be.
I'd say I'm the journalist to cover a story because, one, I'm interested, and two, I'll always, I always listen. I think it's important to listen to what musicians have to say, and and I feel like I would be invested, and I'll always give me time. So, yeah.
So that's it.
Yeah.
She's laid the law down, people. She's laid the law down. Get in touch.
Yeah.
She's the one to cover the story. Okay. But is the last thing before we go by, is there anything that you could suggest to artists that you've seen them not doing that you think that they should be doing? obviously we've gone over content today. Like
Yeah.
the artists do not create enough content. It's always the way. Like if there's an artist out there that is creating loads of content, then the attention is gonna go towards them over people who are not creating content. You know what I mean? So that's one. But is there anything that you think, do you know what, if they did a certain thing, then that would attract more people?
I'd say social media, it's so important. Everyone should have a profile in the music industry.
On every platform.
On every platform, because
Yeah.
it's the way to get noticed, it's the way to make contacts, find people. Yeah, I'd say if they don't have their own socials to get the music out there as well, I'd say you should build on stuff like that.
There we go. So you've heard it from Katie King herself. Go get
Yeah.
Twitter. If I hear one more person say that they've not got Twitter, I am going to explode. You need to be on everything. You need to be dancing on TikTok. You need to be tweeting. You need to be on Facebook. You need to be on Instagram. You need to be on LinkedIn. You need to be on literally any app that is available that you can post this music and speak to fans. Okay. But this has been an amazing interview. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I think you're going to be a super duper amazing journalist for the future and at the minute. And I just want to say big massive thanks for coming on the show. And I've been Royzy Rothschild. This is Katie King. This is the Music Industry Talk Show, Big Hondo Radio, and we out. Peace.